How to read anyone instantly. Machiavellian psychological tactics. Most people move through life blind. They listen to words, but ignore behavior. They trust appearances, but miss intentions. And because of this, they get manipulated, betrayed, outplayed, and confused over and over again. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Human beings are predictable. Not because they are simple, but because human nature does not change. Centuries ago, long before social media, podcasts, or modern psychology, one man observed power, deception, loyalty, fear, and ambition at their rawest level. That man was Niccolò Machiavelli. And while his name has been misunderstood, even demonized, his insights remain brutally accurate. Today, we are not here to glorify manipulation. We are here to see clearly. Because once you can read people, you stop being a victim of their games. This is Truth 001. Why people reveal themselves without speaking. Machiavelli understood something most people refuse to accept. People always act in their own interest. Not what they say is their interest, not what they pretend to value, but what their behavior repeatedly proves. Words are cheap, promises are flexible, but patterns never lie. If you want to read anyone instantly, you must stop asking, "What did they say?" and start asking, "What do they repeatedly do when it costs them something?" Because when comfort, status, money, fear, or power is involved, the mask slips.
Observe how people treat those who can do nothing for them. This is one of the most revealing psychological indicators. Watch closely how a person treats waiters, juniors, strangers, people with no leverage. Not when they are being watched, but when they think no consequences exist. A person who is kind only when it benefits them is not kind, they are strategic. Machiavelli warned rulers that true character is revealed in private, not in performance. People who mistreat the powerless will eventually mistreat you once they feel you no longer matter. Pay attention to what people joke about. Jokes are disguised confessions. People often hide their real beliefs behind humor because humor lowers defenses. What someone jokes about repeatedly reveals their insecurities, their resentments, their hidden desires. A person who constantly jokes about betrayal fears betrayal. One who jokes about dominance desires control. One who jokes about failure is haunted by it. Machiavelli understood that people reveal what they think is acceptable to say indirectly. Listen carefully.
Notice how people react when they don't get what they want. This is critical. Anyone can act calm when things go their way, but frustration exposes the real self. Observe. Impatience, passive aggression, emotional withdrawal, sudden cruelty. When denied, some people become honest. Machiavelli wrote that fortune tests character, not comfort. The moment someone feels blocked is the moment their true nature surfaces.
Watch who they envy. Envy is a map of desire. People envy what they secretly want but believe they cannot have. Pay attention to who they criticize excessively, who they dismiss without reason, who they undermine subtly. Contempt is often jealousy in disguise. If someone constantly belittles ambition, success, or independence, it's usually because they failed to achieve it themselves.
Trust behavior over explanations. People explain to confuse. They act to reveal. When words and actions conflict, believe the action, always. Machiavelli warned leaders not to judge intentions, but outcomes. Someone may claim loyalty, love, or respect, but if their behavior consistently contradicts it, the truth is already spoken. Most people are driven by fear, not morality. This is uncomfortable, but essential. Machiavelli did not believe humans were evil. He believed they were self-preserving. People act morally when it is safe. They betray when fear outweighs virtue. If you understand what someone fears, loss of status, abandonment, exposure, poverty,
You understand how they will behave under pressure. To read people instantly, you must stop romanticizing human nature. This is not cynicism. This is clarity. Because the most dangerous people are not aggressive ones, but those who observe quietly and act precisely. This is Truth 001.
Loyalty is proven only when there is risk. Many people misunderstand loyalty. They think loyalty is agreement, praise, constant presence. That is false. Loyalty only reveals itself when there is something to lose. Watch closely. Who defends you when you're absent? Who stays neutral when choosing sides would benefit them? Who disappears the moment association becomes inconvenient? Machiavelli warned rulers never to trust loyalty built on comfort, because comfort creates followers. Pressure reveals allies. If someone supports you only when it costs them nothing, they are not loyal. They are present. Flattery is a currency and a trap. Flattery is not kindness. It is a transaction. People flatter for 3 reasons: to lower your guard, to inflate your ego, to gain leverage. Machiavelli explicitly warned that flatterers are among the most dangerous people. Why? Because flattery bypasses logic and appeals directly to vanity. If someone praises you excessively, agrees with everything you say, never challenges your thinking, they are not impressed by you, they are studying you. A person who flatters today may manipulate tomorrow. The strongest people are not those who receive the most praise, but those who can detect insincere admiration instantly.
Pay attention to who interrupts and who listens. Power dynamics are revealed in conversation. Observe. Who talks over others? Who rushes to assert dominance? Who listens quietly and speaks last? People who interrupt often seek control. People who listen are gathering information. Machiavelli believed that knowledge is power, and silence is how knowledge is acquired. Never underestimate the quiet observer. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most dangerous one. How people handle secrets tells you everything. Trust is not built on words. It is built on discretion. If someone gossips excessively, shares private information casually, exposes others to gain favor, understand this clearly. They will do the same to you. Machiavelli advised that rulers must guard information carefully, because people often weaponize secrets. Someone who cannot hold confidentiality is not transparent. They are unreliable. Silence is a discipline. Those who lack it cannot be trusted with power, influence, or intimacy. Notice who needs to be seen as good. This is subtle but critical. Some people are obsessed with being perceived as moral, kind, or righteous. They constantly announce their good deeds, justify their actions, seek validation for being a good person. Why? Because morality becomes a shield. Machiavelli understood that those who advertise virtue often do so because they need protection from scrutiny. True character does not require performance. Be cautious of people who need an audience to prove their goodness.
Silence makes people uncomfortable and reveals them. Silence is one of the most powerful psychological tools. When you stop reacting, people over-explain. They reveal intentions. They project fears. Most people talk too much because silence forces self-reflection. Machiavelli advised restraint, not because silence is passive, but because it invites others to expose themselves. The person who speaks less often controls the frame. Watch how people respond to your success. Success changes dynamics instantly. Some people will celebrate genuinely, become distant, steadily undermine, suddenly compete. Machiavelli observed that envy is more dangerous than hatred because it hides behind smiles. Applause can mask resentment. Those who feel threatened by your growth will reveal themselves, not through direct confrontation, but through subtle shifts in behavior. By now, you should understand this. Reading people is not about suspicion.
It is about precision. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming aware. In the next part, we will explore deception, strategic weakness, and why people reveal themselves when they think they are winning. Because the most revealing moment is not loss, it is perceived victory. Deception, strategic weakness, and perceived victory. Up to this point, we focused on patterns of behavior, loyalty under pressure, flattery, silence, and envy. Now we move into dangerous territory, deception. This is where people believe they are smartest. This is where they overestimate themselves. And this is where they expose everything. As Machiavelli understood, people are most careless when they think they have already won. People reveal themselves when they think you are weak. One of the most reliable ways to read someone is to remove the illusion of threat. When people believe you are harmless, naive, dependent, behind, they relax. Masks fall when vigilance disappears. Observe carefully how someone behaves when they think you need them, you cannot challenge them, you lack options. Machiavelli advised that appearing less capable than you are can expose hidden intentions. The moment someone believes you are weak, they show disrespect, manipulation, entitlement, and in doing so, they reveal who they truly are.